In this video, we'll see what the StrongTEK Yoga Foam Wedge blocks are all about. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm James Roberts. This is James Roberts Yoga, where I do yoga tips and tutorials and also yoga product reviews. And happened to get this in the mail yesterday. I'm thinking we're just gonna go ahead and open it up and see what we got here. All right, so we have the StrongTEK Yoga Foam Wedge blocks today. And they come in a nice little carrying bag here. And I wanted to review these blocks, these wedges, because they're helpful with just offering another level of accessibility to certain poses, especially for people with wrist pain. There's some applications with the lower body as well, but I've mainly seen them used for wrists, and I wanted to check them out and see how they work. So we got this little carrying case open. All right. So we've got our wedges, two nice blue wedges. They kind of fit together to form, I guess you could use this as one whole block if you maybe tied something around it, if you wanted to. We get a pose breakdown of options that you can do with the wedges as well. We'll go through these and maybe some others that I want to play with. Yeah, let's get into it. So these wedges claim to offer more support and control of the joints of the wrists and elbows when you're doing postures that involve those things. So that's what we're gonna kind of test and get into and see how they work. All right, so let's first kind of go through how you can use these wedges. Like I said, I've mainly seen them used for the wrists, especially when you're in planks and down dogs and up dogs. And what they can help do is when you're in, let me get into a traditional plank for you. So when you're in a traditional plank, generally, your wrist is pretty much at 90-degree extension here. And what the wedges can do is give you a less severe angle of the wrist. So that 90-degree angle that you would be getting from forearm down to the hand can be a little less intense if you're on a wedge of some sort and you have this kind of decline, this declining shape. Yeah? Awesome. Of course, from here in your planks, you can maybe push up if you want to, maybe move into a chaturanga or modify that chaturanga if you want as well. So those are some applications there. So that's the main application I've seen used for the wedges in the planks, in your upward dogs as well. Let me get into an upward dog here. So let's say we're doing a flow. We've gotten into our plank. We're going to lower down maybe into our chaturanga. Inhale. You can make your way into your up dog. And once again, you don't have that intense 90-degree angle from the forearm down into the hands. So yeah, that can maybe make the wrists a little more comfortable. And the blocks are actually quite soft. They're sturdy. It's interesting, they're sturdy, but when you are on them, because they are foam, they do give a little bit. So I don't feel like I'm like hitting, there aren't any pressure points, there aren't any intense pressure points is what I'm trying to say. It has a little bit of a give to it that is soft, but yet also supportive, which is nice. Another option for a hand-supported posture with the wedges would be your staff pose. So with the wedges alongside your body, you can press the palms down. So again, they're on that decline. Press them down, lifting those hips nicely. Good, good, good. And of course, if you want to intensify it, you can float one leg at a time, maybe both. But again, you have that decline angle of the hands moving down rather than the 90-degree angle that you would probably have in your staff pose normally. Of course, your side planks, finding your side plank with the wedge can be useful as well with the wrists. The possibilities are kind of endless. So anytime you're feeling the shoulder coming over the wrists and where you would normally have that 90-degree angle, that's a time where these wedges can be helpful for you. So you can kind of get creative and kind of go wild with those. Awesome. So another application that I like to use these for, that I've seen them used for, is for stretching of the calves. So let's go ahead and maybe stand up here. All right, so standing up now, what we can do is you just place your foot on the incline of the wedge and just begin to shift forward. And as you shift forward, you'll probably feel that calf stretch starting to happen. If you bend your knee a little bit slightly, you'll probably feel a bit more of an Achilles stretch. So both of these can be very, very helpful. To the other side, just so we're nice and balanced. Again, shifting forward here, getting the calf stretch. And again, if you want to bend that knee a little bit, you'll get the Achilles stretch as well. And what you can also do is make it a little bit more intense. If you take your second wedge, you'll see that the incline here is a bit steeper, so the stretch will be a little bit more intense. So we'll bring that foot to the wedge again here, and you just barely shift forward and you will feel it going down the calf. Very, very nice stretch here. Do the other side. Yeah, same. And again, if you want to slightly bend that knee, you'll feel it in the Achilles. Same on the other side. Yeah, awesome. Another application for these wedges that I often like to use when they're available, if they're ever available in a studio, is in Malasana and Malasana squats. So a lot of times, let me get into one for you. When people move into their deep Malasana squat here, as the hips lower down, the heels may not quite make it all the way down to the floor, which is fine. However, if you do want to have a moment where the heels are feeling supported, you can always slide a little something underneath. Maybe it's a blanket, maybe it's a cushion, but these wedges will work as well. So once you're in your Malasana, you can bring and slide the wedges underneath the heels and really feel nice and supported. So you can really have that feeling of grounding down when you're in your squat here. Yeah. And this doesn't just work for a Malasana squat, like a deep squat like this. It can also work for maybe a traditional fitness squat if you want to have a moment of getting your regular squats in with the support of something underneath your heels. You can find that as well with these. What are the other ones listed here? The other ones listed here are mainly just using it as a cushion, which you can kind of use a blanket for. You can kind of use anything else for. The other things listed here are basically forearm planks, which are fine, but I feel like you can use a billion other things to do a forearm plank on and get cushioning. So I don't think that's unique to this product. So it's nice to do. And if you only have one product around or one prop around, you can definitely make different uses for this. Like if you wanted to just use it as a knee pad when you're, I don't know, in a low lunge, you can do that. They're soft enough for that, absolutely. But I don't think that once again, that's something that you can use a lot of different props for, a blanket or a cushion or anything else. It's not specific to this product. I want to kind of focus on the postures that are more specific to this kind of product that can really give you an advantage. One that's not listed here that I definitely love, especially for people who are working toward upward facing wheel and the wrists are a problem, or wrists can be what's holding them back, the availability of maybe some wrist extension. Usually I would use this against a wall and I would prop some blocks in an incline, but you already have the incline in these blocks, so you don't have to necessarily do this against a wall. So what I would do is have these blocks about shoulder width apart, come on to my back, roll it on down, just bring the hands to the tip of the wedge, press those palms down onto the wedge. And from here, press the feet into the floor, let the pelvis start to rise and lift. And if you're moving into the upward facing wheel, press the feet down. Shift some weight back into the hands and press down into the hands as well. So what you'll see here is that the angle from my forearms down into my hands is a little bit less intense than it probably would be if I'm in a more traditional upward facing wheel. You'll probably be able to see that. I'll put up another picture of me in a traditional upward wheel so you can kind of compare. I'll come on down, but you'll probably see that the angle is a little less intense. So that's one of my favorite applications of using an incline to really help the wrists in an upward facing wheel situation. And of course, like I said at the beginning, if you put these together, they basically form the shape of one block knob. I wouldn't probably use them on the second level because they're probably easy to for them to spread apart unless they're bound together by a rubber band or something. But if you're using them maybe on the equivalent of a first level, I don't see why you couldn't maybe have a little extra elevation in, I don't know, a half moon here, reaching down, or maybe to sit on those blocks, on the wedges as well. Perfectly reasonable use for these as well. So the one thing critically I do have to say about these is that I wish that they were a little bit less slippery, a little bit stickier, because when you press your hands down on them, you can start to feel a little bit of a creep of the hand starting to slide down the wedges. I really wanted to be able to use them when I got into maybe a downward facing dog. But if I press my hands down onto the wedges and I get into my down dog, you see like they're starting to slide down. If I get up into a down dog and I want to have my hands here, there's really no way for that to happen. I think it's a little bit easier when, of course, you're in those shoulder over wrist postures to feel. You have a little bit more gravity going straight down, keeping you in place a little bit easier, but there is a slight drift downwards when you're on the decline situation. So that's the only thing that I would change about the product, probably make it a little bit stickier, at least on the top here. So yeah, these are the StrongTEK Yoga Foam wedge blocks. I think they're very good in terms of comfort and also stability. And I think they do what they're advertised to do, offering some access to postures that may often require a little deeper extension of the joints than maybe the body's ready for at the exact moment that we're ready to do them. So definitely, I think that these are a good investment if you want to have a bit more accessibility in your practice in those joints, especially the wrists and maybe the ankles as well. The Achilles in particular are maybe a hindrance at times for certain postures. So yeah, that is my take on the StrongTEK Yoga Foam wedge blocks. I'll leave a link below in case you want to pick a set up for yourself. I'm gonna sign off from here. Make sure you like this video if you found it helpful. Be sure to leave a comment below if there's any other products that you want to see me review here. Yeah, other than that, have a wonderful day. Remember to live in your fierce, and I hope to see you soon.